Hey, this is Gene. Just want to do a little quick video of what we found out today that Flo is going to actually be able to play tomorrow. Um, I tell you, when it first came out, I thought it was fake, but then when I found out it's real, um, and then we find out that it's possible, they got a call from Trump, and I'm thinking, oh, good Lord, tomorrow the Democrats will probably put articles of impeachment now for this because they'll be upset about it because they're not really pro-American. Um, Yeah, it was weird before the World Cup started. We were like the villain anyway. We were like everybody in Europe was told how great our shit was here, that no one would want to come here because we're just bad people. And then they come here and they realize that's not how it is. And we're having this nice little thing where the fans are all behind the men's team, and a lot of people that come across around the world are now like love the United States. And then now we're the villain again because apparently Trump may have called them just to look at it again. It's not something that's never been done before. They did it with Ronaldo, but you won't hear that too much when they're talking about this. They're just going to think it's favoritism because we're hosting the World Cup and we have, I guess, more more bombs. I guess. So there's going to be a lot of people, and it's already started all over social media saying that that we should lose everything now. Now, first of all, they don't think, most people get on there and they're saying that the World Cup has been shit. This has been a really good World Cup, probably the best I've seen since 90, maybe. Um, so this is, it's unfortunate. And I first thought about it, I'm like, oh, we have to deal with this. And then I think we've been dealing with this forever. We've been considered the villain for so long. Um, so that's fine. We'll just take it on, and hopefully these players will respond and um, just give it to Belgium. Belgium on their day obviously can beat us. They've already have this year. These players know this. They know that that's a talented team there, but it's not the same team that it was 4 years ago. And it's clearly not the team that beat us the last time we faced them 24 years ago. So we could definitely play them man to man. I'm not worried about that at all. And personally, I wasn't really that upset that Flo was not in the game. I was really upset the night. I don't think I thought that was you couldn't call the red card there, but after looking at stuff, it's really a red card. And again, there are a lot of people saying it was reversed. It's not. It was rescinded, and not rescinded, suspended. Excuse me. He still got it's still a red card, but they've used this rule before for Ronaldo, but nobody wants to bring that up. And maybe there is some. I don't know what the president could have actually done there. I mean, obviously, FIFA does what it wants to do. Um, I don't know why that would be a good thing to support the United States in this way, but FIFA is kind of like corrupt. I don't necessarily think this is a corrupt decision. I think the only issue that I have with them is that they waited so long to say it, right? Because it seemed like even Flo thought that he said, "I'm going to be okay if we beat Belgium. I'll be ready for the next game." He pretty much accepted it. What happened? I mean, this shit happens too in soccer. Sometimes in football, it happens. And then it came out today. So it was not nobody on the American team thought that was going to happen. So obviously there was some probably a nudging to say just look at it again and look at the protocols that they did not face. And I've been dealing with a lot of people online about this, and they just understand they're not supposed to unless it's a lot of force on it that actually damaged the player. They're not supposed to slow it down that way. And they did this, and the on-field ref had to see it in slow motion and still images, and instead of it just showing it at full speed. Now you can still call it a red card after that. And after the days that passed it, I was telling my family, because I'm the watch the soccer more than anybody here for 50 plus years, I thought it was a red. Regardless of intent, I thought it was probably still a red. You can do that sometimes, and you get a red for it because you're making some dangerous play that might actually hurt somebody. And the fact is, if you just missed him totally, it might have been. I mean, the referee didn't give anything, right? If you give him a yellow there, it's possible that the VAR could have came in and said, "We need to upgrade it," but he gave him nothing. And at that point, if the VAR, you see that, you're like, you probably need to look at this. And that's how the VAR got involved. And I don't have an issue with the VAR doing that specifically. My issue is that they kept showing him slow images instead of them at real time, saying that clearly there was no intent there or malicious intent. And then you got like he's basically it's an orange card. And then I have no really issue a couple days later of saying it was a red card. And it's still a red card. But somehow FIFA that runs this stuff, they can do whatever they want to do with the rules. And they have that Article 27 that allows them to do this. And if it would have been Messi or something like that, they'd have done the same shit. Not saying that Flo was the same level as Messi or Ronaldo, but if they had the ability to do that, to make sure that the star player, to make sure that the people watch the game and all that stuff, they would have done it for him. And nobody really got upset that Ronaldo's red card that was a 3-game one was taken down to 1. Nobody really cared that FIFA used that article, but now it's happened to be Americans. It's like, oh, we can't say that. And yeah, if the president actually talked to the president of FIFA, I mean, it does look a little bit interesting there. But again, it's sports, so who cares? And I don't, like I said, at first I thought it was a little bit much. And then I got to think, well, this is not a good look for the United States, but I don't give a shit. I mean, we started our country as rebels. If they're going to be upset about that, again, I think that I would have put Pulisic there and played a false 9, and I don't think they would have been able to deal with him at all. I think, personally, I thought that would have been a better game time that we're going to play. I just hope that Flo has a really good game. I hope he has a hack trick and we win 4-0. I don't think that's going to be the case. And people are like, now Belgium should be upset about it because they're having to wait too long or have to readjust their game time. Really? We're still going to play the same position. I mean, as far as we know, like Pele was going to take the guy that played in the Dutch league. He was probably going to just take basically watch out for him. So is it really changing too much? Not really. Maybe now the flow's going to come in. You might have to get a more athletic back four that have to deal with him. But I would, going to that game, they didn't know any idea what we were going to do. We could have played a false 9. We could have had our backups playing the number 9. So Belgium had no idea. Now they know exactly what's going to happen. Flo's going to be where he's at. They're going to see exactly how we played the last 4 games. This is not really anything to train for. So I think that's a stupid commentary. Now, if they want to use that for some more motivation against us, even though they were not involved in the decision, that's fine. I don't worry about shit like that. I mean, it's on the field. You have to be better than the other team across you. I think we can match up with them well there. I saw how Senegal just basically destroyed them, and Senegal just didn't know how to finish the game. They kept trying to get the third goal instead of just being professional and just passing it to each other and took time off the clock. It became an open game, and eventually they hurt themselves. They made the keeper made a bad decision there, and it made it 2-1. And after that, it was almost all Belgium after that. You can't really, I like Belgium. I've always rooted for them, but I can't do that in this game, obviously. So, I mean, all of those players on that team are good. And a lot of them played in the Premiership. These are good players. But they're a little bit older. And I think that, they might come out with a great game and just beat us, right? They haven't showed that yet. They haven't showed it. And even the game that they had, was it 5 goals against Iraq or whatever? It was kind of like shit for half. And then all of a sudden they got the goal and they went going. They can be beat, and obviously we can dominate the game against them, and I think we will. We just have to score when we have those chances. So I'll just leave it there and get ready for Brazil versus Norway. I have no idea how this game's going to go. I don't think this is a really great Brazilian team. They have good players. They have a couple elite players. Norway's the same way. They're a good of a team, but they have elite players. At the number 9, they clearly do, and I think their midfield probably might be able to not dominate Brazil in the midfield, but Odegaard obviously could be a very focal point for them. And, I mean, Holland really didn't even touch the ball at all in the other game they were in, and he scored at the end. But I think he needs to be involved a little bit more. Now, he plays a little bit differently for the Norway team than does for Manchester City. So that it's more of a team type of thing. But I think that you got to continually just try to score it. But again, Brazil's back line is pretty good. So it's basically the Arsenal back line. So it would be difficult for them to score, but they've been giving up goals. They've been leaking goals. I mean, certainly in Morocco they scored. Japan scored against them. They have been leaking goals. So I think that there's a possibility that Norway will score. I think that the individual talent of Vinny Jr. and on set pieces, you got Casemiro who can score. It'll be interesting to see Casemiro if he'll dominate the midfield. I don't think he will. I think it'll be like he plays for Manchester United. I think they'll give up a lot of positions in the midfield, in the mid area, and then they'll use their back four, which is probably their better teams. It's weird. Brazil, their defenders are really good. I mean, like I said, they do have decent attack up front. They do. It's not like France. It's not. I mean, they just show Acuna there. So it'll be an interesting game. I think that probably the neutral probably wants Brazil to play because if England gets past um, Mexico, then I think they would play Brazil next in the quarterfinals. If I'm not right or wrong, I don't know. I have to look at that. Well, it is today because they're all playing today. So yeah. So yeah, that would be that quarterfinal. So you might get Norway versus Mexico in one quarterfinal, and Mexico. I mean, that would be shocking. But if that happens, it's very possible that um, if that's the draw, that Mexico could get to semifinals, which would be shocking. But it could happen. All that shit happens. Let's take a look. But I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah. Come in. Alrighty. Anyway, yeah, I think that's what's going to work. So it could be crazy. It could be Norway and Mexico in the quarterfinals. And if that happens, you never know. I mean, Mexico actually can get to the finals. So, uh, but I think England, even though I think that some of their selections and the people that they left at home is hurting them, and they don't really have, was it a left back? Reese got hurt. I don't know if he's going to be back. Um, they might have to do what they did with Declan Rice. He had to play back there. Or was it the right back? So they can be beat there. But man to man, they're just a little bit more talented than the Mexicans. But the Mexicans they're a very team orientated thing. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know if the weather was going to be there. My sister's actually in Mexico, but not by Mexico City. She texted me this morning and said, everybody's like wearing green around here. What's going on? I was like, it's the World Cup and they're playing England today. uh, you don't know why? Anyway, so I'll just give you my predictions for today's and tomorrow's game. I think Brazil is somehow going to get through. As much as I would like to see Norway, even though I don't like Holland when he plays for Manchester City, I see how he's kind of a goofy type of geek I could do. He's been since the United States, and he's like saying that the United States is so great. So I'm starting to warm into him a little bit. I wish he went to Manchester United, but whatever. He probably couldn't do that because of his dad. His dad played for City, so I'm going to say 2-1. I don't think it's going to extra time, but it might, or added time. It might. I'll say 2-1. I just think that England's just too talented for Mexico, but it's going to be difficult. But I think if they score early on, and then Mexico thinks that they have to get back in the game, that they might get picked off. Um, However, if it goes longer and longer and longer, and you're dealing with the elevation and all that stuff, although England's bench is strong enough to come in and it won't lose any power So based on depth, they might go through. I think it's going to be a nervy 1-0 game, even though that Mexico's has not given up a goal the entire year, the entire World Cup. I think they give up at least one goal today, and I'm just not sure that Mexico's going to score against them. I don't know. I could be wrong. So that would put me with Brazil versus England in the one quarterfinal. Uh, so tomorrow, Portugal and Spain. The better team should go through, and that would be Spain. It's one of those weird years. Portugal has played absolute shit. They shouldn't have beaten Croatia. I just have a feeling that somehow Ronaldo's going to get to the quarterfinals this year. Uh, but Spain's the better team. I'm going to say it's going to go to penalties, and I'm not sure that any of those two teams are going to score. Might be crazy. It might be 3-2, but I think this might be 0-0, and then Spain goes out in penalties like they normally do. If they don't win it, they go out in penalties. So I'm going to say Portugal wins there, and then United States versus Belgium. We have to score. I don't want our players to get to the end and have to do penalties to move on. Now it happens for every team, right? You have to go and do this. Obviously, last time it did. Argentina won on penalty kicks. I don't want that type of pressure to be on these guys, and I don't want them to be faced with it if they don't get through. Now, in this country, you're not going to be ostracized or anything like that. Um, However, so I hope we beat them during normal time, and I'm going to say 2-0. I think that we're going to just make an unbelievable effort to win. I think we'll score, and they will try to get the tying goal, and we'll get something, a penalty or a corner or a free kick or a counterattack to make it 2-0, and we go on to the quarterfinals where we play Portugal. Now, those two are probably going to be wrong. It'll probably be Belgium and Spain, but that's probably where I would go with right now. I think I just have a feeling that Ronaldo's going to have at least one more iconic moment, and I do think that might actually happen against Spain. And I think when he leaves, it'll be against us in the quarterfinals. No, I think if they get to the quarterfinals, they'll be a very, very hard team to beat. I don't see how actually we could score against them, but you never know. But that's where I am right now. Let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know what you think about the decision. Again, I don't think it. I think FIFA is making a mistake here. They should be a little bit more open about why they decided this and how they came to this decision. If they just come out and did a nice little press conference for 15 minutes, let all the media there say that, why did you do this? Why did you do this? And then this and that, but they won't do it. But I think that or just when they released all that stuff, they should actually say, this is why we're doing this. Yes, they have a precedent for it. So we can look at that. But I'm going to tell you, the rest of the world, the ones that are always against America anyway, are still going to look at it as we're being the villain. Well, we'll be the villain, and no one thinks we're going to win the World Cup anyway. I don't think we'll win the World Cup. I just want us to get to the next level and be one of those top 8 teams in the world. And if we just beat Brazil or Belgium tomorrow, we will finish in the top 8 in the World Cup, and that would be a great thing at this point. But I'll tell you this before I let go. I've watched almost every game. There's only one team that I actually fear, and that's France. The France dealt with Paraguay. Now, we smashed them because we scored early on, and they couldn't deal with it after that. They had to come out and open up. Once they did that, we can get them on the break. And that's what we did against Paraguay. They dealt with that. France dealt with all their shit that they did, the anti-football shit that they were doing, and they still won the game. And if they can deal and be nasty like the Paraguayans are, it would be very difficult for me to see us be able to play France, and that would be in the semifinals. I think. I just don't think we have the ability to go and actually beat European powers when you're talking about Belgium, then Portugal or Spain, and then France, maybe England in the final. I don't see that. We're not depth enough there. We have athletically with our pace. We show what pace can do when you got Cape Verde against Argentina. We have that in our team, but France has it as well on defense as well. I don't think any of our players are going to go flying past their defenders. I just don't see that. But again, I'm not saying that we're out there. We're number 2 in the World Cup right now. We're not. Um, I think that we have before this all before when he got the red card. I thought I didn't change my opinion about that we could beat this Belgium team because I saw how they played against Senegal. So I have no issue. Now, this might be something that just galvanizes them with the way they came back against Senegal, and now they might be harder to play. And if they score first, it's going to be very difficult for us to get into the game. And if we try to go after it, they have the ability and the talent to get us on the break as well. And that's what you saw at the end against Canada versus Morocco. Canada dominated that game quite a bit, and it's unfortunate for them that they couldn't finish their chances. The Moroccans got like 5 shots, 5 chances in dominant, and got 3 of them. So, and that could happen tomorrow. We could dominate Belgium, and then they just get us a couple on the break, and then we're out. That's how it is, and we'll see how it is. The question is whether our team actually goes out like we've been played every game, that we try to be on the front foot, or will we get a little bit not nervous, but play a little differently. And I don't think we will. I don't think that will happen. If we beat Belgium and we see Spain or Portugal, I think when we play those teams, we might actually play back a little bit. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll think at that point that we've got where we're going to get, and we're just going to go after them, just like Cape Verde did, guys like that. So, oh, there's Cunha. They're just showing Cunha. So anyway, again, let me know what you think in the comments. Tell me what you think the scores were going to be, and tell me who's going to be in the semifinals in the World Cup. You guys have a good day. We'll talk to you guys later.